Hillary Clinton's emails were really making headlines in a lot of ways and for a lot of reasons.
Her missing emails.
Yes, exactly. And so when people look at the newly declassified Durham appendix, you'll see a number of quite shocking statements in there.
Former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard has some things she wants to say on current Democrat Hillary Clinton, exposing some information that you might not be privy to, guys. It's pretty wild to hear how over time there's been so much coming out about people in the political world, regardless of what side you're on. There's just closeted stuff behind closed doors that we are not supposed to know, but now we do because people are actually speaking up. So it's very interesting. Before we get into the video though, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to RTM News because it ensures YouTube that you're enjoying these videos, and in turn they'll continually show up in your feed and they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
Just talking about Hillary Clinton, I mean, some of these documents, the recently declassified Durham Annex from the Durham report from 2023, that shows some absolutely incredible emails. I mentioned between Hillary Clinton's campaign and various Soros people, just spelling out that this was an operation to dirty up Donald Trump and distract from Hillary Clinton's problems.
That's exactly right.
What do you know about that?
If you remember when we go back and Hillary Clinton's emails were really making headlines in a lot of ways and for a lot of reasons.
Her missing emails.
Yes, exactly. And so when people look at the newly declassified Durham appendix, you'll see a number of quite shocking statements in there coming from people like then DNC chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, talking about how and I'm paraphrasing here, but Hillary Clinton's emails were deleted just in time. Statements like that.
That is so sketchy. Y'all remember in 2015, 2016, y'all remember that the emails being deleted and this sketchy thing, WikiLeaks, all this stuff, we're all trying to figure out what's going on. What was it deleted? What is this information that we're not all privy to? It just deleted in time? In time? What do you mean? I'm sure Tulsi will tell us. That's crazy work. That's crazy.
References towards some of Hillary Clinton's most senior advisors saying, hey, let's use the Russia play against Trump in order to diminish the attention that's going to Hillary Clinton's emails. And it actually points to statements about how Hillary herself approved one of these plans that was put forward again before her to heighten tensions around this Russia hoax, this alleged Russia collusion with Donald Trump, to draw attention away from her and away from the controversy that was surrounding her at that time. These documents also show that President Obama was briefed on this before the election, and how at that point in time, he talked about how he didn't want his legacy to be tainted by Hillary Clinton and her controversy, and claimed to want to stay out of it. Obviously, at a certain point, he made a different decision, but it really, again, starts to lay the groundwork for how we see at the highest levels of power in our country. Remember, Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State. We see at the highest levels of power in our country how this narrative was very intentionally used, and some intelligence pointing to the use of foreign agents or assets to assist in this narrative that, again, was in essence executed to undermine President Trump's candidacy and to advance Hillary Clinton into the presidency.
And Hillary Clinton, you've had...
That's so messed up. You can't trust them. You can't trust them. Making slimy moves behind the scenes, intentionally misleading individuals, misleading the country into thinking there's some sort of hoax going on between a candidate and in a foreign country, just to deter them from wanting to support someone, not based off policy, ideas, vision. That's not what you're fighting against. That's not policy for policy, not belief for belief, not vision for vision. It's just, oh, I don't like them, they're getting traction. Let's make up a lie about them and promote that and propagate it all over the country. evil.
Relations with that are not
Relations.
pleasant. I mean, when you ran for the presidency in 2020, she called you a Russian asset. Why did she not like you back then? You were a Democrat.
There are a few reasons, yes. There are a few reasons. Number one, Hillary Clinton, as I said then, is the queen of warmongers.
Right.
So from a fundamental foreign policy view, what she was advocating for the American foreign policy to be versus what I was advocating for could not have been more different and diametrically opposed.
Libya, for instance, when she was chortling about the brutal death of Gaddafi.
Which is just every time I see that video of her in that interview, really, as you said, we saw and
he died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He died.
And then she laughs.
laughing about it.
Yeah.
It's
psychopathic.
It's to think about someone like her assuming the role of the president and commander in chief and sitting in the Oval Office is actually quite terrifying when we look at the safety and security of the American people. And I just think about the courageous men and women I've had the privilege of serving alongside in the military, and whose lives are the ones who are put on the line when you have people like her and those who share her views in positions of power to make decisions about war and peace and life and death. So, substantively, my views are diametrically opposed to hers on foreign policy and many other issues. But also back, it was because of that as then I was a vice chair of the Democratic National Committee back in 2016. And, I had started to see from the inside so much of what was wrong within the National Democratic Party, but made a decision at that time where the scales were being tilted heavily for Hillary Clinton by then DNC Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Right. But also seeing how the mainstream media was complicit in this, because even as they touted Hillary Clinton as, and you remember, the most qualified candidate ever to run for president in our nation's history.
There's this thing in like DC where they assume because you've spent a long period of time as an elected official that you are so qualified. What have you done? Like everyone was talking about, like Joe Biden had been a senator for so many years. He was the vice president. He has all these accolades, or titles, and now because of that, he is like the most qualified, or an individual who's so qualified to run our country, which is not necessarily the case, because there's no term limits. So for vice president and president there are, but when you're in Congress, it's like you can be forever, and you can, within your entire 50, 100 years, however long you live, that you're in office, you can do nothing beneficial. But just because you're there, you're trusted. I don't know about that.
That's a high bar.
Yes.
That's a very high bar. And yet, when you look at her actual record, they would list off all of these titles, these fancy titles that she's carried, but none of them actually looked at her record of what her policies were as a U.S. senator, what her votes were, what her actions were around foreign policy that would qualify her to be, the most qualified person ever to be commander in chief. They never got into any kind of detail or below the surface on her record as Secretary of State either. The kinds of things, Libya is one example. There are many others that you could point to of where her decisions, her advice, her engagements, ultimately, when it comes right down to it, made our country less safe. And so I resigned as vice chair of the DNC at the time and endorsed Bernie Sanders specifically because they had very, very different views on foreign policy. And it would give me the opportunity and the platform to have a megaphone in order to expose her record because the mainstream media refused to do it. So I have a feeling that in 2020, Hillary Clinton choosing to lob these baseless and slanderous accusations against me.
It's her thing. Russian
It's
asset.
her thing. And she may have remembered me telling the truth about who she really is and her true record for the years leading up to that point.
Crazy. Not using the same exact thing you used on Trump on Tulsi. Like let's switch it up. Let's be a little more creative, Hillary. This is just the nature of politics. This is the nature of DC. Just slimy, manipulative, scummy, self-serving people who masquerade as these heroes to the public. Like, you don't care about us. You don't care about us. It's all about you, man. Oh, it's sick. That's so annoying. I mean, y'all have heard me say it a billion times at this point. I am over these people. I'm over it. I don't trust you. There needs to be a restructuring. I don't know what needs to be done, but something needs to be done in almost at Hollywood. That's sketchy too. In DC and Washington. Like, our hungry vultures is all I gotta say. But shout out to Tulsi Gabbard for calling her out for her record. Her titles are irrelevant to the progress that's actually been done or lack thereof. So props to her. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.